Over the last few years, you've probably seen so many games on Roblox that just don't come out. And trust me, yo, I've been seeing the comments. So, today's video, this is going to be my top 10 releasing games of 2025. And if any of these games don't come out, I'll delete my YouTube channel. Not really. And at the end of each game, I'll be ranking them out of aesthetic, combat, and potential. Let's get it. Starting off this list, I honor mention number 3, we have Goldbound. This is a new Roblox Blue Lock game, and although I don't really usually cover these, this one honestly stands out. Goldbound is a Blue Lock game that seems to be trying to separate itself from the pack, adding in unique features like chemical reactions, where you can literally combine things like Shido's Drag and Drive and Sike's Genius Prodigy, and overall just clearly having a somewhat different aesthetic from the rest. The game's movement also just looks incredibly smooth and fluid, unlike a lot of these other games where you can just shoot the ball from halfway across the universe. Overall, Goldbound is just one of those games that seems like it was genuinely made with passion, and this is definitely one I can't wait to see come out. I'll give Goldbound an 8 on aesthetics, a 10 on potential, and an 8 on combat, even though it's not really a PvP game. But you know what? Let's just say soccer is PvP. Why not? Next up at honor mention number 2, we have Project Slayers 2, which is a game I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with. So this is the sequel to the original Project Slayers, and for anyone wondering, yes, this game is officially confirmed to be releasing this year. Project Slayers 2 seems to be trying to take an original spin on the idea of the previous game, adding in new unique breathings and blood demon arts like serpent breathing and Gyutero's blood sickles, which both weren't in the previous game. And once again, the game is placing a heavy focus on the aesthetic, and you can really tell that they went all in on having the best animations and once again a fluid combat system. I'm actually not going to say too much about this one, as for a game that's releasing this year, the owner hasn't really said too much, but if you're a fan of the previous Project Slayers, you'll probably enjoy this. I'll give Project Slayers a 9 on visuals, an 8 on combat, a 7 on potential. And for the last honorable mention, at number 1, I have Sinborn. Sinborn is another game that's confirmed to be releasing this year, and it's a new upcoming RPG game that's honestly really surprised me with its creativity, dynamic combat, and straight up passion. The game reminds me of the feeling I had playing Deep Woken for the first time, with the unique weapons, incredibly unique map, hobs, and exploration. It's even doing things that I never even saw from Deep Woken, like a unique parkour system with wall running, jumping, vaulting, and more. I can't even really truthfully tell you what this game exactly is, as if you've seen anything from it, it clearly has its own unique lore and story that I guess you won't really be able to tell until you've tried the game for the first time. This is definitely one of those games that has the potential to completely blow up after release, like Slayer, for example. I give Sinborn a 7.5 for visuals, an 8 for combat, and a 9 for potential. And moving on to the actual list, at number 10 we have Grand Alfheim, which is a new Roblox sort of online game. Now, Grand Alfheim seems to be trying to take a different approach to the usual style of SEO games on Roblox, adding in unique things like actual flight and even horse mechanics. The combat itself is also decent, and the game has an insane amount of different maps and areas to explore, as well as a good amount of different races. There's also a whole bunch of different weapon classes, so if a certain weapon works for you better, you can stick with that playstyle. I won't say too much about Grand Alfheim, as I've only ever played it once myself, but I'll give it an 8 for aesthetics, a 7.5 for combat, and a 9 for potential. Step at number 9, we have Clover RPG, which is a new Roblox Black Clover game that's also releasing this year. So Clover RPG is probably just about the best Roblox Black Clover game we've ever gotten, and the game actually has a surprising amount of features, like a super unique character customization system that allows you to make tons of different builds, actual spirit summoning that lets you summon and fight with spirits, a large amount of magics to choose from, and more. The combat is decent, the builds are diverse, and the game itself has a really beautiful map. So for those of you that care about exploration, you'll probably actually enjoy it here. The game also has unique bosses with unique attack patterns that you can tell actually have genuine effort put into them. So again, if you're the type of player who enjoys unique boss fights, you'll probably enjoy Clover RPG. Clover RPG an 8 for aesthetics, a 7.5 for combat, and an 8 for potential. Next up at number 8, we have Hunter x Game, which in my opinion is the most realistic Roblox Hunter x Hunter game I've ever played. Now this is another game that's confirmed to be releasing this year, and first of all, the game actually has a hunter exam. I know I always say this whenever I speak about this game, but it's literally the only one I've ever played to incorporate this. This isn't a game that completely ignores what Hunter x Hunter is. It literally is the anime, but in a game. You spawn in, begin your character's story, take the hunter exam the exact same way they did in the show, and continue on from there. Not to mention, this game is clearly made by developers who genuinely care about it. The game is constantly being worked on, and you can tell that they actually watch the show. There's a good variety of net abilities and different in-game mechanics, a clearly driven story, and most importantly, you can tell that the people making it actually love the game. If you've been looking for a Hunter x Hunter game made by people who aren't just in it for money and genuinely have passion for it, then I honestly think that Hunter x Game will be the game for you. I'll give Hunter x Game a 7.5 in aesthetics, a 7.5 in combat, and a 9 in potential. Next up at number 7, we have Kaizen 2, which is a new Roblox Naruto game, and honestly, the first one that I played in a minute. So Kaizen 2 is another game that's confirmed to be releasing this year, and man, where do I even start with this? First of all, this game has impressed me with the sheer amount of unique content and mechanics it has. Probably the coolest thing I've seen though is the tailed beast transformation. The game literally allows you to become a tailed beast, and this is the first Roblox Naruto game I've personally seen to pull this off since Shindola. And not only can you transform into one, it's super well made, fluid, and it just feels good. The game also has a unique parkour system that allows you to wall run, strafe, slide off of surfaces to build momentum, tree jump, and more. It's probably one of, if not the most unique and well-made parkour systems I've ever personally played in an anime game, and you can tell that it was made with genuine passion. Not only that, the game's combat system is also really well made and in depth. I probably won't be able to really do it justice just by talking about it, but the game's combat allows you to fluidly incorporate different moves into your attack string, bait out your enemy subs to take the combat to another level, freely utilize the different clans and abilities in your attacks, and more. And even though that sounds so simple, trust me y'all, it's not. They actually cooked with this combat, I'm not gonna lie. The game also has a slew of different game modes, like 1v1s, or raids, where you can do massive 6v6 group fights, or war modes, and more. Kaizen 2 is really just one of those games that you can honestly just mess around with for hours. You don't even need an objective. And I think if you enjoy games with combat like Type Soul, or even to some extent Deepoken, you'll really enjoy Kaizen 2. I'll give Kaizen 2 an 8.5 for aesthetics, a 9 for combat, and a 10 for potential. Next up at number 6, we have Magoi. And again, just like Hunter X game, this is probably the most realistic Roblox mod game I've ever played. So the best thing I could say about Magoi is that the game is literally just the anime Magi in Roblox form. Pretty much anything you could think of from the anime, whether it's the crazy amount of exploration, or different races, dynamic and fast-paced combat, or even the dungeons, it's all here. And it all obviously makes the game feel like Magi. But this game is going to step beyond that and made the game even more unique by adding in interesting bosses that weren't in the show, like Alexander from Elden Ring, or even this huge croc thing. The dungeons are unique, the combat is fun and fast-paced, the progression system is interesting, and probably my favorite part, each and every build is diverse. I probably made at least 10 different builds in my time playing this game alone, and you can get pretty drippy with the build customization too. I'll give Magoi a 9 in aesthetics, an 8 in combat, and a 10 in potential. Next up at number 5, we have Yaiba, which is another new Roblox Demon Slayer game, and probably one of the most popular upcoming ones. So Yaiba is a more hardcore Demon Slayer game with a huge focus on unique combat and aesthetics. The game is made by one of the developers of Anime Showdown, so you know it's gonna look really well made. It has a combat system that looks really fluid and fun to play, and overall it just seems like it's probably gonna be one of the most well-remembered Demon Slayer games of this year. One thing I have to say with this game is out of all the Demon Slayer games I've seen, this is probably the one that, in my opinion, has done the best job translating the show to the game. I mean, the game literally just looks like Demon Slayer, from the simple UI, to the combat, to even the blood demon arts. I think if you were a fan of Sekiro, you'll probably enjoy Yaiba, and truthfully, this is one of those games that you just can't wait to try for the first time. I'd give Yaiba a 9.5 in aesthetics, a 9.5 in combat, and a 10 for potential. Next up at number 4, we have Pocket Anime, which is probably going to be one of the biggest anime games on the platform, or at least it has the potential to. So Pocket Anime is a new Roblox Pokemon theme inspired anime game, where your Pokemon are anime characters and you fight with them. Just like with Pokemon, the game has a super in-depth storyline, following your character choosing his starters and then progressing throughout the story from there. Now, after playing the game for the first time, I just have to say everything about the game just feels so smooth. From the user interface to the actual battles themselves to even just progressing throughout the storyline. You can explore the map with different forms of transportation, from Frankie's motorcycle to Ace's striker to even a Capsule Corp motorcycle. And because the game is obviously made based on anime rather than actual Pokemon, you can explore different maps from each anime, like Wano from One Piece, or the Entertainment District from Demon Slayer, or even Namek from Dragon Ball, and more. Overall, Pocket Anime is just a really well-made game, and given the popularity of Pokemon, I'm sure this one's gonna pop off. I'll give Pocket Anime a 9.5 in aesthetics, an 8 for combat, and a 9.5 in potential. Next up at number 3, we have Hinokami, which is a new Roblox Demon Slayer game. And this one's an interesting one. Hinokami is a sequel to Demon Slayer RPG 1 and 2, which were, in my opinion, some of the best Demon Slayer games we've ever gotten on the platform. The game is clearly an upgrade from the previous two though, with super high quality graphics, what appears to be an intricate combat system, and unique mechanics. Probably my favorite thing about this game though, is the unique direction they're taking it in. See, rather than just going the generic Demon Slayer game route, this game seems to be trying to do some new things, like subclasses, as well as actual voice-acted storylines. And subclasses just make sense, like Tengen for example. He was a ninja, but he was also a Demon Slayer, so he kept his ninja skills. It also seems like this game is trying to go for a unique blend of PvE as well as PvP, however, allowing both players as well as demons to actually invade each other's missions, just like in Demon Hunt. I'll give Hinokami a 9.5 aesthetics, an 8 in combat, and a 9 for potential. Next up at number 2, we have Holy War X, which is easily one of the most anticipated games on this list. So Holy War X is pretty much the best Roblox 7 Deadly Sins game we've ever seen, and there's a lot to talk about with this game. First of all, if you're someone who just straight up loves 7 Deadly Sins, you're probably going to really love this game, as they pretty much just straight up incorporated incorporated everything from the anime and leveled it up in the game. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, yo, this game could be better than 7 Deadly Frames, but you know what? I'm not gonna go there. You all got it. 7 Deadly Sins fans, I want no smoke with y'all. Let me not get y'all on my case. You can fight as the giant different races, explore throughout underwater streams, or even just on regular horseback. Enter labyrinths and fight bosses with your friends, play through a massive variety of different weapons and abilities, and more. But rather than just being a simple 7 Deadly Sins game, the game takes it one step further, adding in interesting mechanics like ship systems, and the ship system in this game is actually really well made too, allowing for actual sea combat, which just seems like it'll be fun. Another thing I like about this game is that the combat actually has some type of skill ceiling to it. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's the most skill-based combat I've ever seen, but it definitely does take some getting used to, and you can get pretty good with it if you keep messing around with it. The combat itself also has a ton of unique mechanics you have to learn, like running attacks, grabs, throws into combo extenders, and the list really just goes on. Holy ROBUX is really, again, just one of those games that you just can't wait to play, or at least try for the first time. I'll give Holy ROBUX a 10 in aesthetics, a 9 for combat, and a 10 for potential. And finally, you already know what it is. For my most anticipated game releasing this year, I have RLC, which is really looking like it might be the best Roblox One Piece. So RLC is obviously a new Roblox One Piece game, and what makes this game so special is the fact that it's actively trying to introduce so many unique mechanics and ideas that we've simply never seen before in a One Piece game, like actual submarines or even giants. Most One Piece games just gave up, but not the Crib Brothers. They're actually trying with this project. And that's not even everything. The amount of stuff they're including in this game is kind of ridiculous. From bigger things like unique boss systems to even the finer things like actual mounts, cooking systems, fishing, parkour, and more. The biggest thing about RLCs though is that it's actually being made to be a One Piece game. So stuff that usually gets ignored, like ship systems or even guns, for example, is actually being made well in this game. And you would think for an anime that's literally about pirates, more One Piece games would have ships. But no, same with snipers. No One Piece games have snipers. It's triggering, acting like Usopp and Yasop and Ben Beckman in the show. Like what? The attention to detail with this game is pretty crazy too, considering it's getting released with a lot of things that most One Piece games on the platform still don't have, like Shanks Wi-Fi hockey, the Gum Gum fruit, or even just actual Conqueror's hockey. Most One Piece games don't even have that for some reason. I'm not gonna lie, I'm crashing out a bit, yo. I'm sorry, I didn't come here to do this. The game is also being created by the Crib Brothers, who also worked on Shindo Life as well as a whole bunch of other huge anime projects, so you know that this game is gonna come out well, or at least I hope. Overall, I believe, or at least I hope, that RLC is gonna be the most realistic Roblox One Piece game we've ever had, because we've been needing one for a minute, y'all. Come on. One Piece is a golden anime, and we just don't get good One Piece games. Like, come on. Luffy. I'll give RLC's a 9.5 in aesthetics, a 9 for combat, and a 10 for potential. With that being said, y'all, this has been my top 10 releasing games of 2025. If any of these games don't release, I'll delete my whole channel. Not really. If I miss any games, let me know down below. Maybe I'll make like a part 2. But with that being said, if you're new to the channel, I would appreciate if you hit that sub button, as we're so close to hitting 170,000. Like, so close. Please, hit that sub button. I beg you. Don't forget to drop a like in the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.